Will it run again? Damn right it's gonna run again. This is my 1964 Dodge Polara 500. I gotta tell you that the word rare gets used an awful lot. Nowadays it's pretty loose. And I'm gonna tell you that this is a really rare car. Trying to find one of these things is damn near impossible. I mean, you can find them, but to find a turquoise car with a turquoise interior with bucket seats and floor console and a 383 and a posi rear from the factory is pretty damn impossible. So here's the deal. Because I've been trying to find one of these for 4 years. I've looked on every marketplace for sale every 2 days for the last 4 years. And it wasn't until last month that I was able to find this thing, finally. Because this is a dream car of mine. I had to have one of these really bad, but I didn't want to settle for anything except for the real deal. And I found the real deal. And I'm pretty damn excited, man. I am freaking excited. So I'm going to take you on a little tour of this thing. Now, the car had been repainted once before in its life. And the story I got with it was that the original owners parked it, they don't know why, in a garage for a long time. And the guy I bought it from had it 9 years. And he took parts off of the car, but he didn't really do anything as far as like getting anything accomplished. So it was just taking parts off and stashing them in boxes, and that was pretty much it. So it took a couple weeks to make the deal. I had to drive all the way out to Pittsburgh, which it's interesting, this car is originally from Pittsburgh. Then it's been off the road since 78, 79. So it's got some pieces removed. I've accounted for everything except some engine parts, and we'll get to that in a minute. But my criteria for buying one of these things was I didn't want rotted floors, and I didn't want a rotted trunk, and I didn't want torque boxes all destroyed. I can live with some rust, but I can't live with doing into all these floor panels and just major amounts of metal work. I mean, quarters and stuff, that's cosmetic to me. But the majority, the major stuff, and there are some spots that need to be patched, but it doesn't need entire floor pans. So I got some holes to patch, but nothing anything, major. But the dash pad looks pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty excited about that. Just a little bit right here is lifted, but everything's intact. And he'd already taken the interior out, which I'll show you in a later video. But it's got the headliner's dirty, but it's really clean as far as no rips. The visor's gonna need a little bit of repair, but they're all there. You can see actually some of what the headliner's gonna look like when it's cleaned. I got some plans for that. But it's got all the original glass. Hot damn, it's got all the original glass. Even the partial shelf is still looking pretty good. All the windows roll up and down. He even found some of the original service stickers on it. We'll come back to these service stickers because there's an interesting, I've been able to see the mileage on it as far as when it was last serviced, but the thing just looks so awesome in turquoise. And I've been inspired. I've watched that video over and over on YouTube from Southern Motors. They had sold one of these with a hopped up 426 in it. But I don't want a hot rod. I don't want cams. I don't want loud. I don't want a shift kit. I want it stock. I want to drive stock. I want it normal. And it's got some rust spots coming through, but this is nothing major to me for now. The goal of this right now is to get the thing roadworthy, because it's been off the road a long time. Trunk looks awesome. Just some surface rust, but it's all there. The switch for the trunk light's there. I didn't try that out yet. I never put a battery in it to power it up, at least at this point. But the quarters at the bottoms are rusted. Gonna need some patches. I think I can get the camera in there to show you that. There's holes, but the metal is mostly there. It's just rusted at the bottom sections. The quarter tabs are still there on both sides, which I thought was cool. You know, the drip edges are all nice. The original, I think it's got the original gasket in it yet for the trunk. Tail lights look really nice, not cracked or faded. Bumper's gonna clean up real good. It's got the original license plate on it, which I thought was awesome. That was it, 1978. But I was just excited about the condition of it. Bottom of the trunk looks real good. You know, it's got a little bit of rust, but it's not rusted through. I like to see that. That was one of the criteria for this thing, was I didn't want a structurally rusty car. I can deal with the things that it's got. But damn, these things are so hard to find. Especially in turquoise. So it's got Bondo in this quarter. You know, it's Bondoed out. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just doing some patchwork to it and clean it up and just keep it as it is. Touch it up and drive it as it is for now. I'm not going to get too crazy with that. I kind of like the survivor thing of it. So today's job is going to be getting these wheels off because I need to get brakes on it before I try to start it. I want it to stop first. I don't know if anything's good. I don't know if the rear's good. I don't know if the transmission's good. No idea. No clue. But one thing when I was looking at it I thought was cool. I'm sure the Mopar guys are going to know this because I'm actually not even a Mopar guy. I'm a Toyota guy, but check that out. It still has the sticker for the torsion rear. Or sure grip rear, sorry. I thought that was exciting. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a posi rear in it. Radio's in there. Nothing's cut up. It's got, looks like an aftermarket or dealer radio, dual speaker control. Thought that was kind of neat. The rear speaker, the paper is completely disintegrated, so I don't know if the speakers are going to work, but passenger floor looks really good. Really good. I'm happy. And the rear floor is looking pretty good. It's got some Swiss cheese there, and over on the other side there's a hole there in the corner I got to patch, but the majority of the majors, that's what's important. You don't want a structurally damaged car. And that's not, I wouldn't have bought it if it would have been that way. It would have been hard to not buy it, but because they're so rare, this is the only opportunity I had to buy it. I'm pretty damn lucky to have this thing. I'm so excited to get on the road. I lost some paint up there. I don't want to say rat rod, but it's going to be a survivor. I'm going to order these new felts. They're pretty rusty. I don't want the glass to get scratched, but for the most part, everything's in there. Doors are all real good shape. Missing the lock, but I found it. I'm going to rekey it so all the keys match. But I'm probably going to buy a new trunk lock because it's missing the trunk lock. But, you know, the cows usually, like, from what I've been just getting on the B-body forums and starting to lurk around to see what's being said. And, you know, this is a common thing. Cows rust out. This side is pretty nice. There's nothing wrong here. It's got some little pinholes there. Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some sealer for just to temporarily keep water out of it for now. But all the trim's there and it's all pretty straight. So what I've been working on is getting brakes on it. So to clean all this dirt and rust and shit out of here. So I got brake parts coming. Probably gonna do shocks. The upper control arm bushing on the driver's side in the front, it's a little worn, but I'm gonna leave it go for now. I'm gonna grease the front end up and adjust the steering box. It's got some play in it. But, you know, it looks ugly, but it's not. A lot of the original paint's still on the frame rails, which is awesome. It's got patches. It's missing the Dodge logo here, the little Pentastar. So I gotta find where that was, because someone put a patch panel here a long time ago. I'm gonna find where the holes are, and I'm gonna buy one of them. They're like 20 bucks for one of those. Just do a lot of cleanup and just touch up stuff. Not gonna restore it. Not now, anyway. It's got dinks. It's got, you know, it's got its things, but not bad. So here's the story of the engine. It is a 383, from what I can tell. I didn't check the numbers yet, but it was seized up. So the valve train was off, the valve covers were off, the intake was off. I got that. I don't have any of the valve train or the push rods. I gotta find, the man that I bought it from said he's got this stuff, so I gotta get it from him yet. But the engine was seized up, so I had to soak everything down after I pulled the heads, and I was able to unfree the engine. The cylinder bores, the bores for the cylinders are looking pretty good. A little bit of cleanup there, but everything seemed like it's going to be okay. I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping it's going to run. I don't know how the transmission's going to be. I'm hoping that's going to work. I'm probably going to piss fluid all over the ground, but as long as I can test it to make sure that it works, I'll be happy. I think it's got the original radiator in it yet. So I'm not really familiar with Mopar stuff. This is my first Mopar, so I don't know what... I'm going to keep a documentary of all these numbers that I find everywhere, just to keep track of it, because this whole vintage car numbers matching thingamajig is just, you know, it matters to people, and it's nothing really mattered to me with Toyotas, because I'm a Toyota guy. It doesn't really affect those the import guys, but when it comes to American muscle cars, it seems to me that that's really important. Numbers matching this and that, I don't know, but I'm just gonna join the wagon. I'm just gonna become part of the bandwagon with this, because I feel pretty lucky. I'm privileged to just be lucky enough to have this car. There's the trim tag. That's still there. I already decoded it, most of it. But it is an XX turquoise car. I don't know if the camera's on that real good. I can't really see because there's so much sunlight, but all the options check out. Well, the hood's actually not bad at all. It's got some surface stress on it, but it's not rotted through. There's a little hole, little patch up in the corner there. It's like someone put some body filler in there years ago. The biggest thing for me is the cowl. I got some quotes to do a cowl. It's like $2,500. And what sucks is that you can't access anything in here. It's like from either water, and a lot of the body guys I talked to looked at it, said it was mouse nest gets in there and it rusted out. But I can look up under the dash and see through some of these holes. So my plan was just very carefully clean it up and then try to preserve it and then seal everything off. I don't know what I'm going to use for a sealer, but the car's not going to go out in the weather, and I'm probably not going to wash it. This is one of those cars that you just use a wet rag, because the paint is, you're not washing it and getting water everywhere. But I'm pretty confident I can seal this up and make it look pretty decent here and here to just to close it off for now, so no water leaks in case I do drive it and it does rain. I'm not leaking water on my clean floors or my new carpet, because it needs a carpet. And it's got some rust here in the fender. Probably gonna leave this alone, maybe try to do something to preserve it for now. The man gave me a new left front fender, so I got a fender for it. It's in real nice shape. Not worry about that for now. Don't you know, I started scraping some undercoating off. All the metal's there. It's ugly, but it's not crusty and rusted through. So but what an awesome car. I'm so happy to have it. Looking forward to firing this thing up. Looking at the odometer, 64,000 miles, and the service sticker I was telling you about had 65,000. So I pulled the dipstick and it's full of oil. It's clean. Transmission fluid's full and clean. It's funny, there's a little rot spot right there at the console. I don't know how or why it rusted there. I thought that was strange. I don't know, maybe somebody had a drink in there or what would cause that, but maybe one of you B-body guys that's intelligent and knows what they're talking about can kind of offer me some kind of comment on that. I don't know what would cause that, but I'm a rookie when it comes to B-bodies, and I'm officially a B-body guy now, and I can't wait. It does have those stainless trim pieces for chip guards, which I thought was really cool. They're intact. They need to be straightened out, but they're there. But I am excited to get these wheels off. I know the man had taken some brake parts off the front of the car. The one drum didn't have any brake parts in it. I got everything in boxes. A lot of stuff I got in boxes, and I gotta sort through a lot of it and put it back together. But what I'm really curious about is looking for that tag on the rear end for the gear ratio, and then spin that U-joint coupler and see if it's a posi rear. I'm thinking it is. But this car looks so cool in turquoise. I've seen red ones I could have bought. You know, the thing is start trying to find one. I don't want push button. I wanted turquoise with turquoise interior. I wanted bucket seats. Wanted floor console. I want a tachometer in the floor console, which I got coming. Can't wait to get that. That'll be another video. Wiring it up. Hopefully it works. No AC. I mean, you know, unless I was alive in 1964, which I was not, I couldn't go into the dealer and order this exactly the way I wanted, because I'd load it. I want AC power brakes. Doesn't have power brakes. That's an easy conversion for down the road. So I'm just going to convert it back to manuals again. Drive it like that for now. Just to put some miles on it and just to enjoy it. Try to get it done before summer's over. So I think what I'm going to do is next video I'll post will be we'll go down my basement. I'll show you the interior. And we'll get to that. I finally got the repair manual for it, so I can find out what all these, I don't know, these relays or ballast resistors or what. I'm not sure. I'm just not schooled in it. I have to, owning the factory repair manual is going to help me out a big sum when it comes to figuring out what everything is, knowing what the wires do what, in case I got to solve any problems. But the nice thing is it looks like all the wiring under the dash and in the engine compartment is intact. Nobody modified or cut anything. It's not been rat rotted and lowered. It's pretty much original. I think what I'm going to end up doing is taking this fender off to do that repair on that cowl. So that gives me some time to clean up some of the parts and have a look under there. I think it'd be the smart way to go for now. I don't want to use body filler because that just soaks up water. So I'm going to come up with some guys have been telling me Flex Seal works, maybe using seam sealer or some kind of something to close this off so that it at least prevents it from rusting worse. And because like I said, I'm not going to let it get wet. I'm not going to keep it outside. It's just outside for now because it's so massive. It doesn't fit in my garage very well. My garage is not very big. It fits a Toyota really nice. But when I went to measure it from the garage door, there's that book. We'll go to that book. This is really cool. But, you know, you can see the Super is a really small car. So I put a little paint dot on the floor right here where the bumper ends up. And that is almost at the wall. So I can barely squeak by my vise when I have to bring it in here to work on it. That was one of the original hubcaps. That was cool to have. Here's the intake with a little 2-barrel on it. We're going to keep that. Distributors there. Couldn't find the hold down for it. You know, it's missing pieces. You know, it's when you take things apart. All the valves I pulled out of the heads already. They're all straight. They look pretty good. I'm just going to clean everything up real good. Record all these numbers because there's a whole bunch of numbers on everything, and since numbers is such an important thing with the old car guys, I'm just going to embrace it and just document everything I can. But everything looks clean, pretty darn nice. I already laid a straight edge on the heads. They're straight. The guides all look good. The valves slide in and out real nice, so nothing's bent. Just going to put new seals in it, clean everything up, and probably going to leave it original. Looks like it was originally turquoise. But I'm not going to restore anything. It's kind of hard not to fix it up and paint things, but I don't want to do that because I want it to be a survivor car. At some point down the road, if I'm going to restore it, you know, then I'll take the engine out and paint all this stuff. But for now, I want it to. I almost hate it that it's ugly, but I have to. I have to keep it ugly because I think it's going to be more impressive to look at the car when it's in its state of original condition, I guess is what the words are. Here's the water pump housing. I already heated all the bolts up so I can get everything apart. The water pump's pretty stiff, but it turns. It's cool. The original repair manual for a Dodge Polara, it tells you how to rebuild everything. They didn't throw nothing away. They actually have pages devoted to rebuilding the alternator, rebuilding the water pump, overhauling a master cylinder. It's not like today where you throw everything in the garbage and you got to replace it. Like back then, you know, that's kind of cool. You just rebuilt things. It's like technicians were real technicians back then. You know, even just any monkey can take parts off and throw it away and put new stuff on. But man, you know, it takes skill to be able to repair stuff. So there's another number. I don't know what all matches This Mopar number stuff, everything's got numbers on it. I don't know, codes or what, but as I'm putting all this stuff back together, I'm going to write everything down. So maybe later on, I'll go and review all the numbers I find on everything for the car. And that way, the professional B-body guys or Mopar guys can hopefully are able to tell me if the thing's legit, like all the numbers work and the dates work. And I'm looking forward, actually, the one on the engine block is the one I'm looking forward to seeing. Because I have to tell you, it doesn't look like anything's been taken apart off it. I mean, it's had parts removed, but I think the engine's never been out from what it looks like. I don't think it has. It looks like it's never been touched. I have the bag for the washer pump, but it's all destroyed, so I'm going to find one of them. But the pump's there. I don't know if it works. Radiator's still in it. Somebody patched it, you can see here. So who knows what's going to go on with that. I mean, as long as, if I can drive around locally and it don't overheat, I'm going to back flush it with some stuff. You know, if I got to do some repairs to it, I will. But I think it's the original radiator, so I'm not too inclined to want to replace it. I'm just going to wing it, see if everything keeps as much of the original things as possible. I think the drums are original. Oh, one other thing, I got to change these lug nut studs. My goal right now, the car has got I guess this is the era of the Blues Brothers cop car, but it's got the police wheels on it. Pretty wide. It's got looks like 225/60 15s on the back. I only got 2 of the cop caps. I don't have the other 2. But I'm not really fond of the wheels. I just don't like them. I'm going to put Magnum 500s on it. I think this car, I think old Mopars look so cool. I mean, and all vintage cars, Chevelles, Mustangs, all look cool with Magnum 500s. This car's gonna look so cool with Magnum 500s on it. So I think I'm gonna buy myself a brand new set of those. Pretty expensive, but I think that a nice set of Magnum 500s on this car would look good, you know. Even though it's not exactly gorgeous, but in my mind it's gorgeous. I'm gonna name it Farrah. That's what I'm going to name it. Everybody names cars. I'm not really into naming cars, but I'm going to name this one Farrah, the 64 Polara, because she's beautiful and humble. She knows she's pretty. She's going to be on the road again. So anyway, I got distracted there, but so I'm going to be changing lug nut studs. So the goal today is to get this thing jacked up. Check this rear out and start looking around. I know the man put new leaf springs in it, but some of the bolts are missing. It's like I got to go through everything. I want to get these drums off, and I got to get the studs pressed out or cut off because it looks like they're factory. I'll have to show you that, make another video of that, and just keep on rocking and rolling. So I think what we'll do is the next video I'll make for you is I'll go down and I'll show you the interior. It's not bad. It looks pretty darn good. And then we'll climb under this rusty thing and we'll look at the rear end, and hopefully I can find that tag for that it's got a posi rear in it, and then the gear ratio tag. I know that, I guess from when I've been lurking in the B-body forums, there should be a little tags on those things to tell you that. But I'm stoked. I'm so excited. I know it doesn't sound like I'm soaked and excited. I'm just tired because the last couple of days I've been working really hard. I got myself some time to come out here and work on this thing. I'm determined. Going for a ride in this thing, short of any major failures. But the only thing I'm thinking this could probably limit my driving time in this thing is going to be either leaks or a transmission problem. But I don't know. You guys tell me. Will a 727 automatic that's been serviced, that maybe possibly worked and parked in 1978, you know, once I start the engine up, will it work? Is the pump still going to piss out over everything? You know, are the bands too dried up? Is it, you know, I'm also wondering too if you can actually add this in the comment section about the automatic. I was thinking once the car's running, probably not try to put it in gear at all for a while it warms up and runs. Try to let the pump lubricate all those bands. And then I think what I'm going to do is when it's up on jack stands, I will test the transmission and see if it works. Hopefully that'll lubricate everything well enough that I won't have a transmission problem with it. But I don't know. You know, if it needs a tranny, then in the garage it's gonna go, and I'm gonna pull the transmission out and rebuild it. Whatever I have to do. Because it's, you know, it's funny, the parts for this thing, the trim parts are outrageously expensive. Everything you need for trim is just insanely expensive. But you can buy all the mechanical parts. That's the cool thing. You can get all that stuff. Everything's pretty reasonably priced, and a lot of it's made in the USA, so there's definitely support for B-bodies. So, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to use the word rare loosely, but that, my friends, is a rare Dodge Polara. Or Polaris. People call them Polarises because that little star logo. I thought that was cool. Dodge actually named it after Polaris, which is the Polaris star. I don't know if you knew that or not. I didn't. The Polaris star is the North Star. You know, and there's another thing too. It reminds me of the turbine car. Because the turbine car was, what, 63, 64? And it kind of looks like the same front end as a turbine car. Got the head around the headlights. It looks like it's got the induction for the jets. And then it's got that bird flying down the whole car so fast with, oh, this is really cool too. It's like a machined inlay. Looks like the side of like a police car. Like you can reflex like a white reflection down the side. I thought that was so cool. So excited to look at this thing in the dark with some lights on it. But then the back, from what I've been reading, they copied it from the Impala. Dodge was copying their idea from the Impala. Well, I don't know whether that's true or not, but to me, I don't know. I don't see Impala back here. What I see is like the ports, or exhaust ports for jets, where the exhaust would come out. Because I gotta tell you, and you may disagree with me, and that's okay, but I think this is actually the prettiest B-body from the 60s, without a question. Seen lots of 65s for sale, 63s, 62s, man, they're common. You can buy those cars. But try to find a 64. Just try. It's taken me 4 years. And believe me, I am feeling pretty lucky to own it. Oh, one other thing I'll leave you with before I close this video off. Thought was cool is that, actually, I didn't know this, but 1964 was Dodge's 50th anniversary. And Dodge actually commemorated that on the horn button. That's really cool. So 1964 is Dodge's 50th anniversary. Even when I open the book, the repair manual, it actually says that. And I don't know about you, but anything 50th anniversary is pretty special. Watches, cars, toys, anything made for a company's 50th year in business. That's pretty, you gotta admit, 50 years is a long time. But they still survived. Alright guys, well, if you want to see more Dodge Polara stuff, or you like Toyotas, and all their old Toyotas, I got a bunch of them around here too, so you're going to get a chance to get a little bit of everything here. Come back and see me, because I'm going to make some more videos on this Dodge. Alright man, catch you guys later, bye.